Attention passionate Montreal, Canadiens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the Atlantic Division and it could shake up the entire conference. We're talking about a direct impact on Montreal Canadiens' path to another Stanley Cup run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Montreal Canadiens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Montreal Canadiens fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. There's a buzz in the air, and it's not just because the Canadiens missed the playoffs in the 2024-25 season. No, this is different. It's about what might be coming next, and it's got everyone talking, from fans to insiders. The Montreal Canadiens are reportedly eyeing a significant move in the offseason, and it's all centered around bolstering their roster to make a stronger push for next year's Stanley Cup. And the player that's sparking all this chatter? Mctavish, the promising forward from the Anaheim Ducks. His name keeps popping up in trade rumors, and honestly, it's easy to see why. Mctavish, at just 21 years old, has shown flashes of brilliance in the NHL, and with a full season under his belt, he's increasingly viewed as a potential game-changer for any team looking to add depth and skill to their forward lines. But let's back up a bit and set the scene here. The Canadiens, after missing the postseason, are clearly in a mode of reevaluation and rebuild. Their core of Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson has fans excited, and rightly so. Suzuki, who finished the season with 89 points, is already considered one of the league's top young centers, a true leader on and off the ice. Caulfield, with 70 points, is a dynamic goal scorer, a player who can change the game in an instant. Hutson, still young and developing, has already made a name for himself with his puck-moving ability. But even with these talented pieces, Montreal knows they need more firepower, especially down the middle. That's where Mctavish could come in. Now, the Ducks have made it clear they're open to trading Mctavish, but there's a catch. They're asking for a significant return, specifically, a top-4 defenseman who shoots right-handed. That's a tall order, and it's precisely what's making this deal so complicated. Several teams are interested in Mctavish because of his scoring ability and versatility, but Anaheim's asking price is high. They want a player who can slot into their top 4 on defense immediately, someone like David Reinbacher, for example. Reinbacher, a highly touted prospect drafted 5th overall in 2023, has become an essential part of Montreal's future plans. Standing tall at 6'3", he's known for his impressive athleticism and his potential to be a shutdown defender for years to come. His right-handed shot adds extra value, especially for a team like Anaheim, which has been looking to bolster its blue line. But here's where things get interesting. Reinbacher is still recovering from a knee injury sustained last September. The injury was serious, and there was genuine concern about how quickly he would return to full health. However, the latest reports suggest that he's on track to be ready for NHL action by October, and with that, the Canadiens see him as a long-term cornerstone for their defensive core. His development has been impressive, and many see him as a potential decade-long player for Montreal. The fact that he's still young, just 20 years old, and already showing such promise makes him a hot commodity. Especially for a team like Anaheim, which is aiming to rebuild its blue line with a young, mobile, and talented defender. Let's not forget, Montreal's defensive depth is pretty solid. Noah Dobson has already established himself as a reliable top 4 defenseman, and Lane Hutson, as I mentioned earlier, is progressing rapidly. The Canadiens are building a strong future core on defense, which gives them leverage in these negotiations. Still, the recent defensive struggles and injuries, like Kirby Dach's injury, have fans worried about the stability of the front six. Dach's injury has left a bit of a question mark about the Canadiens' forward depth, especially in the middle, which adds another layer of complexity to this potential trade. And then there's Mctavish himself. He played just 36 games last season, but in those games, he scored 33 points, an impressive pace for a young player still finding his footing in the league. Critics say he's got the size, skill, and hockey sense to be a top 2 center someday, but he still needs to prove he can handle a full NHL season and maintain consistency. The Canadiens see his potential, and they're willing to invest in that future. but whether they're willing to meet Anaheim's high asking price remains to be seen. Will Montreal part with Reinbacher, their prized defense prospect, for a player who needs to prove himself over a full season? That's the question everyone's asking because it's a delicate balancing act. The Canadiens want to contend again, and adding Mctavish could be a huge boost, but they also have to consider their long-term plan. Now, it's important to understand that this trade scenario isn't just about filling a position. It's about the philosophy of the team. Montreal has been focusing on building from within, developing prospects like Reinbacher, Hudson, and others. But sometimes, to accelerate the process and compete sooner, teams have to make bold moves. The potential deal involving Mctavish and Reinbacher could reshape the Canadiens' roster for years. It could give them that top two center they've been craving, someone who can not only produce, but also lead the team's charge offensively and defensively. Of course, nothing is set in stone yet. The offseason is just beginning, and trade talks like these tend to evolve quickly. Montreal's management, led by GM Kent Hughes, knows they need to strike a balance between adding immediate impact players and preserving their future assets. The question is, how far are they willing to go? Will they meet Anaheim's demands, or will they hold back and look for other options? The tension is palpable, and fans are on the edge of their seats, watching every development. Looking ahead, the Canadiens are likely to be aggressive this summer. They're aiming to retool quickly to get back into playoff contention. The addition of a player like Mctavish could be the piece that pushes them over the edge, especially if he can adapt quickly and find his scoring touch at the NHL level. Meanwhile, the defense is solidifying, and the team is hopeful that reinforcements like Reinbacher will be fully healthy and ready to contribute at the start of the season. The future looks promising, but there's no denying that these trade negotiations will play a crucial role in shaping the team's direction for the next few years. Fans, you've got to keep your eyes peeled because, with the way things are progressing, we might see some major news coming in the next few weeks. The Canadiens are all in on making this offseason count, and any move involving Mason Mctavish or David Reinbacher could be the catalyst for a new era of competitive hockey in Montreal. The passion, the hope, and the anticipation are building, and I can tell you, the excitement is real. This is the kind of offseason that could define the future of the Canadiens, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Remember, the core of Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and Lane Hutson remains the foundation, but adding a player like Mctavish might just be the missing piece to turn those playoff dreams into reality. Now, I want you to think about this for a moment. A trade involving a young, promising center like Mctavish for a defense prospect like Reinbacher isn't just about immediate needs. It's a statement of intent. Montreal is saying, we're serious about competing again and we're willing to make bold moves to get there. It's a bold strategy, but one that could pay off big time, especially if Mctavish lives up to his potential and Reinbacher continues his steady development. The Canadiens are at a crossroads, and this offseason might be the turning point. So, what do you, the fans, think? Do you believe this trade makes sense? Are you willing to see Montreal give up one of their top prospects for a player who might be the missing piece in their offense? Or do you think they should hold on to Reinbacher and look elsewhere? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because your opinion matters so much to us and to the future of the Montreal Canadiens. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more rumors, and more analysis to keep you in the loop. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep dreaming about that Stanley Cup run because the Canadiens are always aiming for greatness.